We are back on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio, News Talk 1180, 1230 KGEO, 1410 KERI, and now in Albuquerque, New Mexico at 1000 KKIM. Hey, we may have the governor of New Mexico on in a couple of weeks.
I mentioned that, and also Richardson's coming to town, I understand, too.
Yes, that'll be great. Our in-studio guest, Kern County District Attorney Lisa Green. So, Lisa, Prop 36. And Clay's right, I'm a little bit obsessed with it. I guess, I don't know a district attorney that was for Prop 36. Everybody was opposed to it, right?
Well, what is Prop 36, Marty?
Well, Lisa, if you can tell us what Prop 36 is.
The Three Strikes Initiative?
Yes.
Yes. Actually, there were two district attorneys statewide who wrote in favor of it, who wrote for the ballot proposition in the pamphlet.
L.A. and San Francisco?
L.A. and, I believe San Francisco is correct, but it was Santa Clara District Attorney Jeff Rosen also.
It's a good guess.
Was in favor of the modification of Prop 36.
So what is Prop 36 again?
Proposition 36 was the proposition that was passed by the voters that basically now requires the third strike to be a violent or serious felony, whereas before any felony could suffice as a third strike, whether it was regardless of whether it was violent or serious.
Okay, now here's the ironic thing to that. Okay, let's say you've got somebody who's committed 2 murders and their third strike is something a lot less than that. If it's a parking ticket, no judge in their right mind is going to throw them in jail for a third strike. So
right.
It's going to have to be something violent anyways. So did the law really accomplish anything?
Well, a parking ticket, of course, it would never in any way be a felony, and we would hope that someone with 2 murders would still be in prison.
Right.
Well, one would hope, yes.
Right.
But
this is California we're speaking about.
But basically, let's say that person was out of custody and got arrested for possession of drugs, which would be a felony in California. That, in the past, prior to Proposition 36, that would be a potential third strike, and if they were convicted, they would receive 25 to life. And now, if that happened, they would be treated as a 2-striker. And although actually there's a lot, that's probably not a good example because there's a lot of exceptions written into the law, so that person actually might not be eligible. I'd have to look at the details, but the point being that for the most part, the third strike it was designed. Really, I think the backers to prevent that person who steals a pizza or, because they're hungry to be convicted and have to serve 25 years in life. But
how many times would that happen, though? That's the thing.
It happens on occasion, but what the proponents, I think, ignored and what people don't realize is that to get to that position, it's not that they've just been convicted of 3 felonies. They've had a long record. Usually start with misdemeanor convictions.
Sure. And
finally it becomes a felony where you might do county time, and then it's finally you're going to state prison. So it's kind of a progressive. These are what we call career criminals. These are people who have earned the 25 to life. But be that as it may, the law is different, and that was the will of the people that spoke.
Now, your office has a responsibility to not only prosecute, but also to supply attorneys for people that can't afford them. Is that correct?
No. We represent the people of the state of California in every criminal case. So we're not hired. So I think what you're thinking about is the public defender's office.
That's not under you?
No. They defend the people charged with crimes. And if people are indigent, they can go to the court will appoint the public defender's office. You cannot hire your own lawyer to prosecute on your behalf. We are the only prosecutorial agency, with the minor exception of the Attorney General's office in some cases, that prosecute on behalf and in the name of the people of the state of California.
Wow. That's pretty interesting. I wasn't aware of that.
It's a huge
we've
responsibility.
Got one government entity going against another government entity. All free to the criminal.
I suppose you could look at it that way. A lot of times judges do order the defendants to pay, if they're able, for the cost of their appointed attorney, and hopefully that that does happen when they have the ability to do that.
We are having a conversation with our own Kern County District Attorney, Lisa Green.
So you work closely with the Sheriff's Department or with the BPD, or do you work close with both of them?
Both agencies, all agencies throughout Kern County, but those are the two largest.
So CHP would also be one, and then
CHP, Ridgecrest PD, Shafter PD, all the law enforcement agencies basically submit their cases to my office and request charges be filed.
And you're controlled through or you're approved or appointed or whatever it is through the supervisors at Kern County, is that correct? You're elected.
I'm the boss of me. Yes, I am. I am elected. And so I would say I myself, I'm responsible to the voters and citizens of this county. But my budget, yes, my budget does come primarily through the Board of Supervisors, the elected supervisors in this county.
Do you see any opportunity to get an increase in your budget? Because obviously in the past you've asked for it.
I hope so. Those are discussions that we will be having with the supervisors. But as I mentioned, we asked for an additional attorney position for the 2012-2013, and we were funded for that position. And it's actually, I find it very interesting. It's a lifer attorney, and we go to the parole hearings throughout the state now, send our attorney to oppose the parole of, murderers, kidnappers who receive life sentences, but now it's time for them to come up for parole. And we've had really excellent results, and I'm very grateful that the board saw fit to fund that position. And I'm hoping next year that there's when I go to the board and talk about the needs of the office, that they will reward my office too with some extra funds. But that remains to be seen.
That's a great term, a lifer position. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that the current economic situation with the high unemployment and then the increase in taxes is added to the crime rate in Kern County?
I think high unemployment is a factor, and I think that in this county, because it is, this county and all Valley counties are seeing spikes in crime, especially theft-related type offenses. So I think that is one factor, absolutely.
And there seems to be a tremendous amount of release of prisoners, as you've already talked about earlier. Do you think that's increasing the crime rate in Kern County? I guess the answer is obvious, but I want you to tell me.
I think that when people who are committing crimes and are punished and sentenced to, jail for a year, or, some of them are getting sentences 9 years, 10 years, because they can't go to prison anymore. Well, our county jail isn't set up for those long-term type sentences. So I know of one individual who received a 9-year sentence. He did about 6 months, and 3 months later, he's arrested again, on a drug offense. So in that sense, the jail has become a revolving door, and that's obviously contributing to the increase in crime.
So what's the answer to this, Lisa?
The answer? Well, under realignment, the answer is that we get certain programs in place to basically help individuals. A lot of these theft-related crimes are committed by people with substance abuse problems. There's no question. An attorney who handles defense cases told me that he believes 99% of his clients started when they were young with, using drugs or alcohol. And that just escalates as they get older. So we're trying, with the money we've been given through the state to our county, to institute some of these programs, and but that's going to take a while. That's probably 4 to 5 years down the road, which is somewhat discouraging.
Well, and it's also costly. And where's the money going to come from?
The money is coming from the state. They're giving a certain amount to each county to implement programs. Kern County, I believe, got $22 million for 2012-2013, but I will tell you, and that sounds like a lot of money.
It's not.
It's not, and of the 58 counties per capita, Kern is 58th.
58th in the amount of money they got?
Per capita for each inmate, yes.
Why am I not surprised? Wouldn't have anything to do with the fact.
And it's similar to other Valley counties, but we in terms of the money that we got per capita, 58th.
It wouldn't have anything to do with the political aspect of the fact that...
I do believe that it'll show that some of the northern counties, Alameda, San Francisco, got quite a bit more money, even though they already have the programs in place. So we're hoping that the Board of Supervisors is acting, sent a letter that the governor will be responsive to this.
When we come back from the break, let's talk a little bit about, since we did touch on the governor, let's talk a little bit about the governor and some of his new programs and how that's going to affect us here in Kern County. Our in-studio guest, Kern County District Attorney Lisa Green, and we'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio, News Talk 1180.